Hello there, friends, and welcome to the Yarnspirations Facebook page, as well as the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I am so happy to be joining you today for this yarn review lunch and learn. If you don't know my name, I am Marley Bird, your By Crafty bestie, and I'm ambassador for Yarnspirations Yarn, and I love to knit and crochet and talk about yarn and teach how to do it and write patterns and just do all the things. I'm assuming that is why you are here, because you also love to knit, crochet, to weave, or to do all the things. As we are getting started here, please let us know where you are joining us from, and just say hi. We'd like to say hello to everybody who joins us for these lunch and learns. Hello, Julia and Sandra and Lindsay and Yeti. Is it Yeti or Yeti? I'm not sure. Yeidy, but hello. It's a thrill to have you guys here. All right, so last week I went live on the Yarnspirations YouTube channel and my channel with my best friend Robin Chichula, and we did an unboxing of a bunch of brand new yarns that Yarnspirations has on the market right now for this season. And if you remember, if you happen to watch that, we went gaga over the all new All Day Cotton by Caron. And so today, when Yarnspirations said, hey, we want you to do a little bit more in-depth yarn review about the Caron All Day Cotton, I was like, great, that sounds like a good plan. So my plan today is to talk a little bit about the yarn. Let's work up a little swatch together live on air. So I have my crochet hook, I have my knitting needles with me, and we can kind of see what's the stitch definition, what's the feel like. And then as you guys maybe have some questions, don't hesitate to put them out there in the comments, and I will try and answer as many questions as I possibly can. Does that sound like a plan? All right. So hi, Cindy, Sharita, and Lisa, and Pamela, and Laura, and Lydia, and Sharon, and Karen, and Deborah. So many of you here. Hi. It's great to have you here. It's always so much fun. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to switch my camera view, and we're going to take a look right down here. Okay, so this right here, my lovely friends, is the Caron All Day Cotton yarn. This is a mercerized cotton yarn that is, let's see if I can focus this camera down a little bit on the thread itself. Can you see how it's wound together? It's sort of, I don't want to call it a cord, but it's almost like woven, braided together. I don't know how to describe it, but it's something different than just a basic twist. Hopefully you can see that really clear here on the camera. And so as I come down here and just try and come back into view, it comes in a plethora of beautiful colors. This one right here is watermelon. I think this color was my favorite. And the fact that they sent me these colors, I was just like, okay, well, you guys obviously know me. You know what I love. So I love the idea of putting all of these colors together. And I know somebody's going to ask, what colors are these? So I'm going to let you know. Chainette, Julia, that's exactly what I would call it, kind of a chainette connection. So this is Eyes Blue. Eyes Blue. I already told you this is watermelon. This one here is cream. This one here is Bermuda teal. This is very teal. On my camera, it's looking more green. This is very bluish teal color. And then this here is like a spring green color. It's called grass green. This absolutely looks like a grass green. This one looks like a more blue teal. But altogether, what a great combination of colors that would be. That is just really awesome, right? Okay, so this is some fantastic new yarn. Like I said, all day cotton, 100% mercerized cotton. This is not a cotton I would use necessarily for dishcloths. Like I would stick to the Lily Sugar and Cream and the Red Heart Scrubby yarn when you're talking about dishcloths. This yarn is definitely going to be more for your fashion detail sort of items. Maybe a market bag or a vest or a sweater or a cardigan. Like you can use this and it would, or a shawl. This is definitely something that you would be okay with wearing. So those of you who are allergic to wool or you don't like using acrylic and you're like, I really wish you had more cotton in your line, this is for you. This is the cotton you're going to want to try out. It is soft. Like as I feel it like this, like you guys, you do that, right? Like it feels good. It does not feel rough. It feels smooth. It does not feel like like the chainette connection as I close my eyes, like I don't feel like it's rough at all. It feels like a very smooth, sleek feel to the yarn itself. It comes in these 50 gram, 100 gram balls, and you know cotton is heavy, so it looks real small, right, for 100 grams, but cotton is heavy. So it is 100 grams, 173 yards. Beautiful colors. I'm trying to think of anything else you guys might be wondering about this. The design team over at Yarnspirations has put together some designs for it, and I did pull up the page. Let me find it. I did pull up the page so that way we could take a look at this as well, so you guys could see. Am I all right? I gotta find where. Oh, there we are. I'm like, where did I go? On my end, there's a lot of moving parts. Okay, so for me, it's over here, so I'm gonna look over here. But this is just, I looked up in the filters for the all day cotton, and I looked up for the Caron brand all day cotton. And so these are the patterns that popped up. You can see here, this is beautiful granny stitch shawl, which would be like all the hit. Like everybody, am I looking on the right page? Oh, I'm not looking on the right page. Hold on. Let me stop the screen share. Remove. Let me do it again. Present. Screen share. Is it this one? That's the one. I was on the actual yarn. This is the one I wanted to share. So I went to the filter. I changed it to Caron. I went to All Day Cotton to pull up what patterns they had available. And so you can see here, this is the granny shawl I was just talking about. Granny stitches, if you don't already know, they are like super duper popular right now. I actually just recently wrote a blog post about, what more can you do with granny squares? And it like took off. Like everybody's like, oh, this is really great. I love the idea of what else could I do versus just making a blanket. And so if you are interested in that at all, I'll be sure to pop a link in the video description box below, and I'll put it here in the chat as well if I can't think right here. But the granny squares in general, they are something that I think a lot of people can make, and it's something that is very quintessential crochet. And so when people think of crochet, they think of granny squares, but they think that they can only make blankets. And that's just not the case. You can make a ton of things more than just blankets. So right there, I just put it in the video description box if you are interested. Not just the video description box, but the comments. Oh my gosh. I wish I had like a person who could help me out with all the behind the scenes stuff as I'm going through this. But the granny squares. So this would be a really great option. Obviously here you're seeing two more colors that are part of the collection. So this is the Eyes Blue, the one we talked about right here, Eyes Blue. And then this one down here is the Country Blue. It's a much more navy type of blue color, right? All right, so let me see if I can go back. And we have a mesh market tote. This has a beautiful like purple lavender color. So that's called mauve. And then the green, it looks like the green might be out of stock. Oh no, grape. No, that's right. Oh, pattern kit. Oh, that's the kit. I didn't even pay attention to that. You could get a kit. So you could get the kit for the grape or the cherry. Look at that. Or you can get this one. What did they call that one? Jute. That's pretty. Like the color. If I can put on there. That's really cool. If you wanted, so like the colors are down here that you would put together for an entire kit here if you wanted to put together. $13.97, not hard at all. This is just some very simple crochet lattice work with some, probably those look like single crochets. Very, very easy, user-friendly project that you could absolutely tackle. Blankets. Maybe you're looking to make a blanket that is made out of cotton. Maybe I know that I have friends who like to go to the beach during the summer and stuff, and they love to bring cotton blankets with them. And so this would be a beautiful cotton blanket that you absolutely could make. And it's a crochet pattern. And I haven't said this yet, but all of the patterns at yarnspirations.com are free. So if you get a chance, you should absolutely go to check them out. But you can see here, this uses grass green, Eyes Blue, Jungle Aqua. Which one's Jungle Aqua? It's probably that color there, you think? And then cherry and then white. I mean, just great colors. Just great colors. Don't you guys think so? I think these are great colors. Cardigan. We talked about a cardigan. The other day when I was talking with Robin, she was mentioning how she is allergic to wool. So she really loves using wool. She loves using the Payton's Classic wool, and she's excited about the new recycled wool that they have coming out with Evermore. And she loves to design with it, but she can't wear it. She can't wear any of the items that we make when we use wool. But when she saw the all day cotton, she was like, this is great. We can design some things with it, and she'll actually be able to keep the sample and wear it. So very excited to see that we could actually make some crochet garments here that are they're not gonna look like dingy dishcloths after you wash it after one wash. And that's because of the mercerized cotton. When you mercerize a cotton, you're putting a coating sort of thing on the cotton, and so it makes it a little bit shiny, and it just it stands up a lot better to wear and tear. Look at how pretty that is. I mean, simple stitches, you guys. Those look like double crochets to me. And I mean, just very, 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 very simple stitches, free pattern. Lots of fun you can do here. All right, so I'm going to come down here. Obviously, there's more granny stitches we can do here. Here's another vest with some fringe, but I'm going to click over to this one because this is the knit project. How cute is this? Like, I would absolutely wear that. Absolutely 110% would wear that in the black and cream. Absolutely would wear that. It's no doubt to me that the design team made something that is so simple but so chic that you can do with a basic cotton. So if you're somebody who maybe you snowbird into different areas of the world where it's warm in the southern elements of America during the winter, but it's not hot, but you still need a little something. This would be a really great project as well. And again, this is a free pattern. It's a knit pattern. You can see the back of it. It's very, very simple, subtle shaping here. I mean, this is just adorable. I love, don't you guys, wouldn't you use this? Like, I would so wear this. I would so wear this. I would so wear this. All right, so I'm going to come back over here now. Let's see what you guys all are saying here. So I am looking up here and a lot of you are still saying hi, which I love. And so could you use this for amigurumi? So that is a very good question, Judy. My answer is going to be absolutely yes. Maybe you wanted to make like a teddy bear or something warm and snuggly for baby that isn't an acrylic or a wool, and you wanted to have something just that they could just wrap up together with. You could absolutely use this for amigurumi. You could use this for baby blankets, very easy to wash for mom. And it would be a great option for sure. Great option for sure. So that is a good question. Deborah, it doesn't split, lovely to work with. Exactly. That's something I wanted to talk about with the construction. And I am going to call it a chainette construction, unless somebody can correct me. I'm going to call it chainette. But the way the fibers are worked together in this piece, as you are using your hook or your needle, you're less likely to split the yarn. Of course, if you're using a super pointy hook or needle, you could, pierce the yarn just like you probably would if you wanted to weave in your ends, but you're less likely to split the yarn. So it's a very nice yarn to work with for sure. All right, let's see here. Lorinda, hi from Walla Walla, Washington. Hello. The city is so nice. They named it twice. That's so cute. Love your knitting and crochet patterns and tutorials. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that for sure. CNY woman. Yes, I actually put the link to all of these patterns. I made a full link and I put it in the video description box below. So I definitely have that down there for you if you want to go check it out. I took the whole filter that I did and I put it in there so that way you could do it. Oh, looks like Julia already got it for you. All right, that's cool. So hello, you must try this. I agree. So why don't we try it together? I am going to grab a hook here. I'm just grabbing a size H hook because it's pretty common. And I think I want to use the watermelon color because I think it will show up the best against the blue hook. What do you guys think? This color here? I think this is the good color. All right, so just like any of the yarns, you can pull it from the outside or from the inside. I'm going to pull from the outside today. Let's pull from the outside and play with it this way. And because I'm assuming you know how to crochet, I'm not using this as a crochet lesson. I'm just going to to work it up and just talk with you guys as I'm going along, okay? So right now off the start, it feels really good in my hands. Like I'm just going to talk to you like as I'm using it. Feels really nice and smooth. The knot feels good. And I'm just going to start doing some chains. So let's just do some chains here. All right, let's do 4. And then let's join with a slip stitch. Let's maybe make a granny square, just a pretty basic granny square. And then I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to do double crochets. So 1. All right, it feels good. It definitely is smooth coming off of my hook for sure. It feels not too slippery. It definitely feels more slippery than if you were using an acrylic yarn, if you're used to using an acrylic yarn. And I really feel it like down by my pinky there as it's sliding through there, you know, when I keep my tension. I definitely can feel it here and here. I definitely feel like this really nice smooth, which it feels good to me. I would think that if you have a sensory thing, it might be really good and comfortable to you. Let's see here. I'm going to keep going here. I'm not having any trouble with it falling off of my hook, and I am using a Susan Bates hook, so I do have a more inclined hook base right here, or throat of the hook. So I'm not having any trouble grabbing the yarn. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. And let's do 2 chains. I'm doing a granny square off the top of my head. How about that? So hopefully I'm doing this right. We'll see here. I've taught so many granny squares lately that I feel like I can do this. And right there, and then chain 2, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch. Can you see right there? I had no problem getting into the yarn. Now I'm going to tighten this up a little bit here, and let's kind of see if I can come up here. So I have, sorry, I'm trying to make sure when you move, you have to get focus. Okay, so you can see I'm not having any trouble. The stitches are very well defined. You can definitely see the V of what I'm going into as I'm working along. And then I'm going to just slip stitch over to the chain 2. I'm going through both. Maybe I'll just go through the back. I made that one tight. And then get to the, all right, let's do another round. So 3. I definitely, it feels good. It feels good. Any questions so far? Like, I definitely can see I want to control my stitches a little bit more. I already control my stitches quite a bit as they rest on my hook, but I could see because of the mercerized nature of this, the loop, like your golden loop, wants to get a little bit bigger than you might want it to initially. So keeping good tension of the yarn on your hook, and then when you pull up that first loop, making sure it's the same size as your hook is something to make sure that you don't get stitches that are too tall, and you can keep your stitches quite consistent. And what I mean by that is if I come in here and I just pull this up like that, see how tall that first loop is, right? Compared to when I tighten it up to the size of my hook. So it becomes a much more consistent stitch. Okay, we come over here, just do some more doubles. Definitely feels good. I don't feel like, there are some times when I'm using a glossy type yarn that I feel like it's too slick. Like I kind of feel like not slimy through my hands, but it definitely feels like there's like, all right, there's something on this yarn coating it as it's working through my hands. I don't get that feeling with this, which is nice. So I feel very comfortable working with this. I feel like I could keep going for sure. Let me just finish this round and we'll keep going around here. I could absolutely see, like we said, shawls, cardigans, market bags, amigurumi. You guys talked about that. Amigurumi would be a good choice. I don't think I would make dishcloths with it for sure. Like this is not a dishcloth yarn. I don't think I would make socks with it because it just is not, it's not a good sock yarn. I also don't think I would make leg warmers or anything along those lines, things that are going to require some sort of like an elastic type fit. I could absolutely see like a bucket hat being made out of this. Maybe a bucket hat would be really cute. Maybe like a check bucket hat, or a bucket hat that maybe you um, started out with it was check, and then you did the slip stitches on the top to kind of give it a plaid look. Like you could get a really cool look there. I think that would be really great. Maybe a necktie for a man, if you could crochet it or knit it really nice and snug, so that the stitches didn't expand too much. And I think that would be nice. I'm going to see if I can join it here. Get in there. All right. Okay. Well, let's cut this. Pull this through. All right. So it looks pretty nice. You guys know me. Let's weave in my ends and see how well that goes. So I'm just going to grab a bent tip tapestry needle here. And I'm going to pop it through. And for me, I probably shouldn't have done that before. Just keep it right here where we are. For me, when it's a cotton like this, I definitely would go down the stitches themselves, like the post of the stitch, come down below here and try and get underneath those loops. And then if you have a needle that's pointy, like a chenille needle or something, you could even work through the chainette portion and try and pull through. It might get a little bit snug. But for me, I'd want to make sure that I am going back and forth a couple times. You could even tack it down a little bit with a little fabric glue if you wanted to. You don't have to tell anybody. But I definitely would go back and forth a couple times to make sure it's all secure where you want it to be. And I'm going to just put this back down. And I'm going to play around with it to make sure I'm not getting anything where I don't want it. Ooh, a baby soap sack. You could probably do that. Again, I think that for me would be a little bit close to a dishcloth. So I don't know if I would do it. I think I would stick more to, you see here, it's like my ends are coming out. I would stick definitely more to fashion sort of pieces. That's nice, right? It's not bad. I'm going to weave this one in while I'm at it. And you know what? Let's grab a pointier one. I have so many needles here. So can you guys see here? This is a very, very sharp, pointy needle. Has a big eye here. Let's see if I can use that. Let's see how well that does. All right. Okay, so you can see there, if you undo the strands, you guys see how great that is. They're like wound. Each little strand is wound. Oh, looks good. Looks good. All right, so I'm just going to pop it through and pull that up. Pop it through again. You know what? I think each strand is wound and then they're wound around each other. I think that's exactly what's happening. Look at this. You guys see that? I don't think it's chainette at all. I think each strand is wound and then it's wound around each other. So it gives this look. Oh, that's cool. Fooled me completely. That looks good. All right, so here I'm just threading it through. I'm actually piercing through right now. Let's see how that worked. Oh, that just like butter right there. All right, right there. Okay. So there's my granny square. Let's pull this apart. Let's pull this apart together. You guys see? So watch. It's just coming. It is wound. Look, it's just wound together. Can you see that? Let's see. Can you see that? But then each one of these strands is wound. So like this here, does it have other strands in it? Ooh, I am testing my eyesight here, you guys. I can get this apart. I don't have my, I just want to see what this is like. Yeah, see that? See, it's like coming unwound. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right, so that's how this is. So each one of these strands are wound together, and then it's all wound together, so you get that really cool, that look. How cool is that? Can you see why I thought it was chainette? Like, it looks like it's chainette, but it's not. Shows how much I know. I love that. Oh, that's cool. All right, so felt good. Feeling it in my hands. This is good. I'm just going to rub it around a little bit. Let's kind of see. I'm not getting any like distortion. Right? Still holding up really well. It's not fading. It looks good. I think that looks nice. Looks really nice. All right, now let's play with knitting real quick. Let's play with it with the knitting. Maybe I can knit just a couple rows. Super cool. Yarn Inspirations, I know you're here today. You're probably like, Marley, what are you talking about with the construction of the yarn? You should have told me. You should have been like, no, this is what it is. I totally thought that's what it was. It was like this chainette thing. I didn't know. All right, so I'm going to keep going here. I don't know if it's Lillian or somebody else here with me today. So I'm just going to knit a couple rows here. Again, and this is not all about knitting. I just want to get the feeling of what it's going to feel like, just basic with some garter stitch here to start. So, oh, it's Laura. Hi, Laura. Yes, Laura. Next time, don't leave me lying to the public like that. That's all right. We figured it out. We got it all going on now. Feels really good. All right, so it's nice. It's not coming unwound on me. All right, like as the fibers, as I'm knitting with them, they are not coming unwound on me. They're staying nice and uniform. Let me come over here. I'm just gonna get a couple more here. I'm curious if you guys have seen this yarn on the market at all. Have you checked it out at yarnspirations.com? And if you're going to grab some, are you planning on doing some knitting with it, some crocheting with it? I mean, there's all sorts of things. You could probably make, I mean, I would guess you could make ornaments with it. Couldn't you make ornaments with it? And maybe use like some starch to stiffen them up and have some really great ornaments. All right, so the garter stitch feels really good. Let's play around with some stockinette here. You guys are saying it seems on the lighter side of worsted. It depends on what worsted you're comparing it to. If it's compared to like a super saver worsted, it does feel a little bit lighter than that. But most of the other worsteds on the market, it feels perfectly on par with those. Yeah, you probably can make a holiday stocking. My biggest fear with that is if you're going to shove it full of stuff, cotton does stretch. So you want to be prepared for that. You do want to be prepared for that. You guys are saying you would crochet with it. This is a brand new yarn on the market for Yarn Inspirations. They don't have another yarn like this on their website. So this is a unique yarn for them. Come out with a cotton yarn, which we've been asking for a more mercerized cotton yarn for a while. So they do listen for sure. Okay, let's see how the stitches look up. Oh, they look very, very defined, right? Very defined stitches here. Maybe we can do a cable here. Let's see. Let's do a 6-stitch cable. Let's kind of see what it would look like. Now, mind you, if you're going to do a cable like this, it does take a while. Oh, now I did split that yarn right there. So messing around with my cable stitches, that was the first time I split the yarn. Needle size recommended on the ball band, I think, is a 7 or an 8. I think I am using size 7s right here. Yes, size 7s. Oops. All right, remember, if you're going to do a cable, it takes a couple rows before you really get to see the cable. So give me a second to get some stockinette going on here. Play around. I think the hardest part if you're going to do cables is making sure that the stretch of your stitches isn't too much, that it distorts out of shape. So you have to be very careful when you're doing cables and such, because they can easily get stretched out of shape, like that yarn right there, you know, as it pulls over. Let me get some rows in. So that's row 2. The crochet hook I did use, you guys saw that I used an H, or an 8mm, not 8mm, 5mm, an H, which is a US size 8, which is an 5.5mm. Gosh, I'll get that right eventually. The great thing about using the Susan Bates hooks is that they are color coded. So even if you didn't know what size I used, you could see that it's blue. So is it slippery? It is not. I don't find it too slippery. It's definitely slippery on the metal here. Like if you wanted to use a bamboo, it would definitely stick on it a little bit more. But I don't find it too slippery. It definitely has a little slip to it on the needles here. It's not very grippy, for sure. For sure. Dana, for chemo hats, you know what? I am not sure. I know that when it comes to chemo hats, you do have to be really cautious of what yarn you're using. So my instinct is that, yeah, you could probably do like a skull cap or something with this, and it would be a really great, nice, smooth chemo cap, for sure. So you can see the cable right there. I'm going to do another cable on this row. Let's see what it looks like. What did we do? We did a 6-stitch cable, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We'll do it again. I would imagine that if you were to wash and block this really open, getting some lace work would look nice with it as well. Just like what you were looking at with the filet crochet or the chainette crochet construction. Dizzy Lizzie is saying use soft yarn for chemo caps. Well, I would say this is definitely a soft yarn. I don't know how texture wise it would interfere with somebody who has a very sensitive scalp, because it's not like a really soft, I mean, it's smooth, but you know, if somebody is highly sensitive, they're definitely going to feel like it's a little bit, I don't want to say cord like, that's not the word I'm looking for. It just depends on how sensitive somebody would be. All right, can you see that? You see how those are popping up off the fabric? Really great stitch definition here. Really great stitch definition. Let's see here if we can do some lace and kind of see what it looks like. Oops. Candy says, I don't mind slippery. I just thought it looked soft, which sometimes coincides with slippery. I completely understand that completely. I like when yarns move off of my needles really well because I tend to knit really quickly. And so if a yarn is sticking to my needles, it slows me down. So I don't like the way that feels. So I tend to speed up. All right, so let's see. I'll do an SSK, and then yarn over an SSK, yarn over SSK, yarn over, and then knit 2. It's opening up pretty nice. You guys like how I'm just like pulling out stitches out of my mind, like, let's try this. Give this a whirl. All right. So the lacy bit, excuse me, you can see it's opening up pretty nice. Definitely, it feels nice and secure. Feels good. Cable definition was really nice. The garter stitch is great down there. I mean, I would like to knit with this. You can see that the stitches definitely have some space in them. I'm using size 7s. So depending on what kind of fabric you're going for, you want to make sure you pay attention to that. Because unlike a like an acrylic or a wool that has more of a halo to fill in the gaps between the stitches, this definitely has more space. So you want to be aware of that as you're working up something, because you don't want it to be so tight that it's going to be like Kevlar for sure. Lisa, what other stitch can I come up with? We could do entrelac. We could knit backwards. I could do brioche. We could do ribbing. You guys want to see what ribbing looks like? Let's do some ribbing. Let's do 1x1 ribbing and kind of see what we get here with this stitch. Geez, I don't know what the heck got into my throat, but goodness gracious. It looks like a great bit of yarn. I think it looks nice. All right. Let's see what the ribbing. My consensus here is the ribbing, because cotton is not elastic, the ribbing is not going to pull in like you would normally expect ribbing to do on a cuff or a brim of a hat or something. It's just going to look like basic ribbing. Just look like a line of knits and a line of purls. It's not going to look like it's not going to be doing much as far as pulling in the fabric. It's definitely just going to be limp sort of there. Let me go back. I don't know. Let's see. Any other questions you guys can think of? Baby booties. Somebody is suggesting baby booties. I was thinking even like a nursing bib. You know what I mean? So like you can make a nice sort of shawl and make a nursing bib, because then you have cotton. So here's my ribbing. It looks pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like there's how it stretches out. But that looks good. I don't know. Those stitches look great. This is the reverse side. Not too difficult to work with. I did split the yarn once, but I think it worked up really nice. Really wonderful stitch definition. Wonderful stitch definition for sure. I think so. Don't you guys think so? All right. Okay, so we learned a lot today. We learned that Marley clearly doesn't know as much as she thinks she knows. I thought I looked at it. You know what's funny is I even talked about this being like chainette looking the other day, and nobody corrected me. So I'm glad we unraveled it and looked at it a little bit closer, because that makes a lot more sense. Pretty cool how that worked up. Great. Comes in a lot of really wonderful colors. Like I said, here's these colors if you want to see them out here. Wonderful spring-like colors that are popping up. You can get this yarn right now at yarnspirations.com. I did put a link in the video description box, so you can definitely click that and order the yarn whenever you decide you want to add this to your stash of stuff. And of course, there's a bunch of wonderful patterns over at yarnspirations.com. And I'm sure they're going to be coming up with more patterns coming up here as the spring will be here before you know it. I know I'm saying spring, or as we're coming up to like not even Halloween yet. Like it feels like Christmas. But it'll be here before you know it, because time just flies by. But I hope you guys enjoyed this lunch and learn and working up some of this yarn with me together. If you want to find more tutorials like this one, please be sure to subscribe to the Yarnspirations Facebook page, or you can subscribe right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. And remember, sharing is caring. The more you tell others about our channel, the Facebook page, the yarn, the patterns, myself, the more we are able to provide more stuff for all of you. So yeah, make sure you share the good news if you don't mind. Other than that, I will talk to you guys again soon. My name is Marley Bird. I am the ambassador for Yarnspirations Yarn, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye.